Roblox is now planning on partnering with DistroKid, and this is going to be massive. As you can see, Roblox has been one of the more active companies in the gaming and metaverse space when it comes to working with the music industry. And going down here, you can see that music was a prominent part of its announcements at the RDC about its next stage of its development. And I'm going to go down here a little bit. The company formally announced its integration with distributor DistroKid, which is providing a library of music for Roblox creators to include in their games. I think this is massive, because to have your music be able to somehow be featured in Roblox is huge. I mean, any way and anywhere that your music can be shared and played, of course, is important. You never know what can happen, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or any other platform, Twitch, etc. Roblox could be another big avenue for musicians to get their music heard. And it says right here, by year end, so the end of 2024, potentially I've heard beginning of 2025, creators will have a catalog of music across multiple genres: EDM, pop, dance, rock, country, rap, etc., etc. And there are some tricky things though, and I'll talk about this a bit later, is that recent reports suggested, and this does happen a lot, I hate to say it, that Roblox DistroKid deal will not involve actual royalties for artists, in this beta stage at least. And they can only opt in if they own 100% of the publishing rights, you have the full rights to everything, and are not registered with pros or performance rights organizations. What's tricky about that is it is kind of annoying in the beginning, because basically Roblox is trying to have its cake and eat it too. Although I will say I think there's still benefits, and I'll talk about that in a second. And right here, it's not the kind of platform-wide licensing relationship the wider music industry wants from the metaverse, even though some labels, Monstercat most famously, I'm a huge fan of Monstercat, and I think their marketing is genius, see value in making music available freely to creators on these platforms in order to drive revenues, for example, streams, other places. And lastly, I did contact DistroKid about this just out of curiosity to see when it's going to happen. However, this is Rye, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, and they just said we are thrilled to be partnering with Roblox. While it's not available as a store option just yet, you'll soon be able to send your new or previously uploaded releases to Roblox. Keep an eye out. It's coming soon. Couple of things I will say about this. One, I'm really excited about this partnership, right? I mean, it is kind of cool, I gotta say. I know I've done, I think at this point, well over 100 videos about DistroKid, right? And for a good reason. I'm a huge fan of them. I do want to stress I have no affiliation with DistroKid. I think a lot of times people think I do, and it's understandable because I do a lot of videos about them. But the main thing is, with DistroKid being so popular and so easy, they do partner with a lot of different platforms, companies, businesses, and entities. Roblox now being one of them, and I think this could be massive, right? With esports and gaming just becoming more popular literally by the day. I mean, gaming is the biggest growing niche on YouTube, for example, and not probably any surprise to anybody when I say that. So to have your music on Roblox, huge, right? I mean, absolutely huge. Now, let's bring up the elephant in the room, and that is the whole thing when it comes to not getting royalties. And I know, obviously, as a musician, how this is kind of like, wait a minute. So you're telling me they can use my music for free, people can mess around with it for free. I don't know how they're going to integrate it, right? I'm not sure the exact logistical approach they're going to take, but it's like, wait a minute. So they can use my music for free, and I get nothing? Like, literally nothing. Here's my honest perspective, which is tricky, right? I think it's important to look on both sides, of course, as a musician, is one, I'm not spending money, right? And I think that's a huge thing. It's not like Roblox is saying, hey, pay us $10 a month and you get nothing. Then I'd be like, okay, come on, this is getting kind of ridiculous, right? If you look at Beatport, for example, in case you don't know, Beatport is one of the biggest EDM sites to download and stream electronic music, very much so for DJs. And in case you want to use the Beatport add-on on DistroKid, it's $10 a month. So I spend $120 a year for the Beatport add-on when I only spend, I think it's like 40, how much is it now? I think $45 or $46 for the like mid-tier membership when it comes to DistroKid, because I have the custom label plan, right? So I spend a lot of money to be a part of Beatport, but in return, my music is on Beatport, which is huge for any EDM artist and DJ, and I also make more money from Beatport per month than that $10, right? So to me, it's a net win. It's a profit, right? With this, though, when it comes to Roblox, yes, you're not spending any money, so at least that's good. And two, the way I look at it as a positive is, hey, it's another way for people to hear your music. It's the same reason why if someone wants to use my music in their Instagram reel or on TikTok, or they want to use it in a video, I say go for it. Because to me, it's free marketing. I'm not spending any extra money to have it be on a certain platform or whatever. And I'm like, hey, if it can be on a platform for free and I don't really have to do anything else, it's almost like passive marketing, if I'd use that phrase, why not? On the other end, though, again, now targeting the big elephant in the room is, well, one, Roblox not paying royalties is kind of annoying. That is frustrating. And I think for a lot of platforms, Roblox being one of them, it does become very technical of where does that money come from, right? Do you charge the user who's playing Roblox? Because now that money has to come from the user's pocket. That's not going to fly. Is it coming from ad revenue, right? But then you have to probably put more ads on the platform. So there are some kind of tricky business questions that get brought up when it comes to paying artists royalties. Now, on the other end, there's two different sides to this, right? And I'm going to oversimplify this. You're talking about paying artists, like say, per stream, saying we're going to pay you X amount for every time someone uses your song in Roblox, for example. But then there's a whole other thing. Well, let's say if they want to just have a license to use songs and to pay out ASCAP or BMI, performance rights organizations, they can do that. But that means that money still has to come from somewhere, right? So either way, and sometimes they have to double dip, right? So either way, if they really want to, pay artists or have artists get money, let me put it that way, they do have to spend money out of their own pocket. And I think for them, they're probably like, hey, this is the first step. I know platforms do this, like Snapchat kind of has a similar deal on DistroKid where they're like, hey, you can put your music on Snapchat, but you got to make sure you have all the rights to it. You're not part of any pros. So there are some companies that have kind of started with this saying, look, we want to start featuring people's music, but we don't have the money, or maybe they just don't want to spend it. Let's be honest. Maybe they're like, hey, maybe we can have our cake and eat it too. Like I said, we don't have the funds. We're not going to spend the funds. So what we want to do is at least have the music be on there, not have to deal with paying the artist, not have to deal with paying the pros or the performance rights organizations. We're going to start there, see how it goes, and then maybe at some point work our way up where maybe we start doing a deal with the artist or a deal with the pros, with ASCAP and BMI, et cetera, et cetera. And although it is kind of frustrating, right? Because, of course, I think everyone can agree, it's criminal. And I've seen this comment numerous times on so many platforms. Like, it is criminal how little artists get paid for streams. We know this. And artists, I think, consistently get such little money for their music. I mean, I think it was Mark Cuban who said, the music industry is the worst business or the worst industry in the world. And I get it, right? I mean, with the amount of, I don't know if I ever did this, but I'd be curious to do the math out about the amount of hours I've spent learning and making music versus how much money I've gotten. Is probably like a cent an hour or something. I don't know what it would be, to be honest. I'd have to do the math out. And yes, some of it is passive. I guess I'd say that, right? And some songs take off, some don't. But when it comes to a situation like this, I think for me at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? DistroKid is constantly adding new stores, new platforms, new businesses, new entities, and integrating it into their distribution service. To me, this is just another excellent sign that I think the partnership with Roblox could be big for a lot of artists because, like I said, you never know. There was a time I remember when I was releasing music, and this happens all the time, I guess, and you never know what platform is going to take off. My song, St. Patrick's Day, which is now my most popular song ever, took off because of TikTok. It didn't really do that well on YouTube. It kind of did okay. Same thing on Spotify, same thing on all these other platforms. On TikTok, boom. That blew it up, and it was like the number one song in the world, almost consistently out every year. One of the top 3 songs in the world to use on Instagram and on TikTok, right? That song is almost like my Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's kind of like a similar thing. Not on that level. I mean, because I think she gets 1.2, 1.3 million every December. I think it's more than that, actually. Wait, I think it's 10 million. I don't know. But she gets a lot of money. I actually did a video about that. I can't remember what the exact figure was. But every year, the passive income she gets from that song is insane. Obviously, I'm not on that level. That'd be cool if I was, right? But when it comes to this, though, you never know what one of your songs could pop off. And yes, similar to what Monster Cat said, this is why I'm a huge fan of Monster Cat. They have a very big policy where they say, hey, yeah, maybe our artist won't get a royalty or paid from a direct stream or use of their song, but the publicity could blow it up. And that's kind of what happened with me on TikTok, right? Yes, I did get money from TikTok, don't get me wrong, but the publicity from TikTok, even if I didn't get any money from TikTok or from pros, was so big that song, in return from all the streams I end up getting and the uses I end up getting, blew my St. Patrick's Day song up, where I started making a lot of money every March. Likewise with this, who knows if, let's say, somebody, some big creator, and this has happened to me as well, some big creator on Roblox, like say, uses your song and is loving it, and they're playing it, or I don't know how they're going to use it, or the integration is going to work. They could be playing it. Someone's like, whoa, this is a great song. It blows up, and yeah, maybe you don't get any money from it directly from Roblox, but indirectly. All the streams, all the people saving your song, now all the people discovering you as an artist could be massive. And that's kind of Monster Cat's strategy. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of Monster Cat. I think their marketing is genius because they do kind of understand a lot of not only the musician side of things, of course, I mean, they're a label, but also the creator side of things and understanding the true ins and outs of how a song can genuinely blow up, especially when creators use it. And I think that's something that could happen with this. Granted, I'm hoping at some point, I mean, granted, this has not even been released yet, but I am hoping at some point that if this does pick up steam and starts doing well, that of course they kind of switch gears and say, okay, this is going well, now let's start paying artists. By the end of the day, we'll see. I'm going to do a video about it in the future. Near the end of this year, of 2024, or the beginning of next year, on 2025, your music could be on Roblox, and that could be a huge leg up for marketing for musicians.